A couple of months ago, author Mark Morris was very kind and sent along a whole bunch of his books for review. And then after that, I got yet another message, this time from Graham Reynolds, who runs Horrific Tales Publishing out of the UK. And he also wanted to send along a box of books for me to unbox here on the channel. And he sent along his entire catalog. We have a bunch of paperbacks in these boxes, and then I have yet another box that hasn't arrived yet, so there are a couple of hardcovers that are also coming. Wow, okay, so there are all 14 books. These are all the paperbacks, and he said that there is a total of like 23 books, I believe, that he's sending me. So I have quite a few hardcovers coming. I will see you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna edit that clip in here right now. Alright, back with box number 2. These are all of the hardcovers. Alright, so the very first book I see, wow, this is beautiful. This is Scavenger Summer by Stephen Saville. Probably pronouncing it wrong, as I always do, but that is a beautiful, beautiful cover. Summer 1986. I love a good book that is set in the past. A summer of beachcombing and skinny dipping, of amusement arcades, karate games, and penny falls, of first loves, fumbled experiences, excitement, and possibilities. A summer where anything could happen. These teenage days truly were the best ones of my life, right up until the moment I found my mother's body washed up on the beach. Damn. That sounds like it's going to be a very emotional story. And yeah, coming of age, set in the 80s with amusement parks, summery, beachy, and death and mourning. So yeah, all those good things. This is a novella, so it's super short. I could probably squeeze this in before the end of summer. So yeah, very excited to read that. That sounds so good. Next up we have, man, these books are so pretty. The Cold by Rich Hawkins. Gives me some Thing vibes, if you will. It was an English summer's day, like any other, until the snow began to fall, and kept falling. Within hours, the entire country was buried beneath a freezing white blanket, and hidden within the blizzard conditions, things began to move and kill and feast. Seth is one of the few passengers to survive the train crash. Now, he and his fellow survivors face a new world of snow, ice, and freezing fog, where they will be hunted like prey in the ruins of Great Britain. They must run, they must hide, they must survive the cold. Very cool, and this is another shorter book. It's a little over 200 pages. I will definitely be reading this in the winter time. Next up is a book that I have been hearing so many good things about. This is actually an anthology. It is Leaders of the Pack. This has stories all centered around werewolves, obviously, and it has a lot of great authors. We have Jeff Strand, Ray Garton, Jonathan Jans, Glenn Rolfe. I see Paul Kane in here. There's Matt Serafini, who really knows how to write a good werewolf story. Lots of good authors. This sounds like a blast of a book. Next, we have a book by Paul Kane. This also has an introduction by Tim Levin. It is The Rot. Something has happened to the world. People are going mad. The very foundations of society are crumbling. Only Adam Keller, testing a prototype environment suit, apparently remains safe. But for how long? Can anything be done? Can any of it be reversed before everything goes to rot? I've said it before, I'm not the biggest fan of post-apocalyptic stories, but, you know, Paul Kane, I've heard a lot of good things about him. I actually do have one of his books for review already, and that is Before, which is from Grey Matter Press. I'm excited to get to that one at some point here soon. Next up, we have The Grieving Stones by Gary McMahon. Beautiful cover, yet again. A small therapy group arrives at Grief House, hoping that a combination of isolation and hard work will help them begin the healing process each of them so desperately needs. But their presence has awakened something in the old dwelling, something linked to the ancient stone megaliths at the rear of the property, and a terrible crime committed centuries before. Before the weekend is over, the group will learn the secrets of the Grieving Stones and come to understand the true meaning of transformation. Sounds like this one might be a rather emotional read, which I love. I love a good melancholic horror story. So hopefully this is one of those. Here we have The Veil, Testaments 1 and 2 by Joseph DeLacy. He is an author that I've heard a lot of great things about. I have not read any of his work though. Some call it The Long Silence, others The Hush. Whatever it is, the world has gone quiet. No electricity, no engines, most of the people gone. There are survivors, small groups enduring as best as they can in a seemingly abandoned world. At night, the landscape grows with an unnatural light. The stillness is broken by the desolate cries of the lost population, returning now to search for no one knows what. What is certain, though, is that those they drag into the shadows do not return. The Veil contains the final testaments of two disparate groups, a band of survivalists barricaded into a single block of the American city, and a young family hiding in the remote part of the English countryside. But there are enemies among the survivors too, using the cataclysm to serve their own desires. If the end of the world can't cleanse the human heart, what reason can there be to continue? So this is another post-apocalyptic story, but it sounds like this mixes in some really interesting things. I like the idea of things coming out at night and dragging away the survivors. That sounds really cool. It also gives me some Annihilation vibes, which I really liked. So I'm curious to see what this is going to be like. All right, so here we have a different kind of hardcover. This one actually has a dust jacket. So this is called And Cannot Come Again, Tales of Childhood, Regret, and Innocence Lost by Simon Bestwick. So it is another short story collection. On the back of this says, funny, frightening, and moving. The stories in Simon Bestwick's new collection explore how our childhoods mark us, our regrets haunt us, and how our innocence is sometimes lost and sometimes taken away. A young policewoman is drawn into a dreadful bargain. Murdered girls walk the streets of Manchester beside their still living friends. Tormented children call on an urban legend for help, and the events of a long ago summer and first love return with lethal consequences for 4 childhood friends. All this and more besides in these 17 short stories and novelettes from the author of The Faceless and The Feast of All Souls. This sounds wonderful. Again, coming of age fiction. Actually, reading that synopsis gave me a lot of feelings of my own childhood. Yeah, this will be an interesting read. Probably very emotional. Again, I'm probably gonna cry. I cry in everything, honestly. Here we have, wow, this is cool. Another Lovecraftian looking book. This is called Dead Shift. This is by John Llewellyn Probert. Nobody likes going to hospital. They thought the old man was harmless, just another tramp found collapsed in an abandoned housing estate. At Northcott Hospital, they put him in a bed and let him keep the strange old book he insisted on clutching. 3 friends working through the night at Northcott Hospital are about to experience the worst shift of their lives, trapped inside the building as creatures undreamed of and their worst nightmares begin to crawl from the walls in a bid to make the place their own. Soon, everyone and everything in Northcott Hospital will be changed. Will anyone be able to stop the evil worming its way through the building, or will the horror escape to infect the planet? This sounds like a blast, and again, it is a novella, so it's super, super short. Hopefully I can squeeze this in soon. That is Dead Shift. And last but not least, we have another Lovecraftian kind of book. This is called The Rage of Cthulhu. This is by Gary Fry. When George Cox chances upon the ruins of a disused foghorn station on the English coast, he wonders what could have been big enough to cause so much damage to it. His investigations slowly become an obsession that takes him all around the world, tracking down stories of an ancient creature rumored to have occupied the planet hundreds of thousands of years ago. I wonder who that could be. Even if such a creature existed, it had to be dead now, hadn't it? At any rate, it couldn't be haunting George's dreams. It couldn't be summoning him from its immense grave. But the closer George comes to the truth, the more he learns that all the travel guides lack one vital piece of information. In his house at Bray Lee, dead Cthulhu waits, dreaming. There we go. That is The Rage of Cthulhu by Gary Fry. Alright, so there are all of the paperbacks that Horrific Tales sent along. And here are all of the hardcovers that they sent. So a total of 23 books. This is definitely going to keep me busy. So thank you so much to Horrific Tales. Thank you, Graham, for sending these along. That was so nice of you. Seriously, like, blows my mind, because this is a lot of books. They're all beautiful. And yeah, a message to everybody watching, please go support Horrific Tales Publishing, because they publish some great looking books. I mean, just look at these. They're beautiful, and the stories sound amazing, and these are all indie authors, so they could really use support. I don't know how I didn't hear about Horrific Tales until now. Like, I'm so surprised that I didn't have any of their books. I don't know how they went under my radar, but I'm really glad that they are on it now, because these are awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Later, creeps.